This is the final battle. With you at my side, we will demolish the deep state. We will expel the warmongers from our government. We will drive out the globalists. We will cast out the communists, Marxists, and fascists. We will throw off the sick political class that hates our country. We will rout the fake news media, and we will liberate America from these villains once and for all.
It's not a republic. We couldn't keep it. Truer words have never been said, and that's really all the introduction our first guest tonight needs in reaction to the past 24 hours since the guilty verdict came down against President Trump. Joining us now to discuss is Oren McIntyre, a columnist for Blaze Media and the host of the Oren McIntyre Show podcast. He's also the author of the new book, The Total State: How Liberal Democracies Become Tyrannies, which is now more prescient than ever before. Oren, thanks for being here tonight.
Thank you so much for having me.
I know your book covers this, but for us here watching tonight, how come the Constitution couldn't stop what we just saw happen in New York?
Yeah, it's wild. You write a book about something like this, but watching it unfold in real life is still shocking. Ultimately, what we recognize is that a constitution is just an instantiation of the traditions of a people. It's a way of being, a way of life, an understanding of how they should relate to their government, how their government should honor every citizen. And if the people no longer believe in it, if they no longer enforce that, then the paper itself cannot do anything. And unfortunately, what has happened for a very long time is that conservatives told themselves that their principles prevented them from extracting a political cost when the left violated the rules. And standing around shaming the left and saying, oh, well, how could you possibly do this? The rules say we can't do this, doesn't stop anything. Only an actual political cost stops bad actors from continuing what they've been doing. But conservatives have said, we don't do this. We're not these people. We're better than this. And as a result, we see that the left run roughshod over our judicial system and go ahead and prosecute their main political opponent, making it incredibly difficult for him to run for president, to oppose their power, because ultimately they don't expect to pay any cost.
No, they don't. And I think it was Michael Knowles who made the joke first, but he said, phew, good thing, guys, that we didn't prosecute Hillary Clinton when we had the chance to, because just imagine what the left would do to us now if we had done that in the past. The precedent it would set. And of course, like you're saying, the joke is it doesn't matter. The left is doing this anyway. We need to be able to start fighting, getting our heads in the game, because so far we haven't. I know Biden today, he did a press conference on Israel, and then at the very end of it, reporters were trying to ask him for comment on President Trump saying that he's a political prisoner in Biden's America. And of course, Biden didn't respond whatsoever. You just see him exit the room. He does stop at one point and he turns around and he smirks, smiles. Maybe he's just confused. I don't know. But it seems that he's smirking and smiling over at all the reporters and all the cameras. And then he just walks on out. So does that kind of go back to what you were saying earlier, that the left fears absolutely no retaliation? Biden has no fear whatsoever that he or his son or anyone else in his little world or sphere will ever come under the kind of persecution that President Trump is. And that also the left doesn't feel like they're going to be losing their grip on power anytime soon.
Yeah, ultimately, he knows that the media might ask a few questions, but they're never going to hold him to account. And again, conservatives have made it a point of pride of saying, oh, well, we don't punish our enemies. We would never use power in this way. When you announce that you're never going to have any kind of retaliation for breaking the rules, people will continue to break the rules. Look, Ronald Reagan believed in peace through strength, but he understood that mutually assured destruction meant that your enemy had to believe that there was a credible threat that if they actually attacked your country, they would pay a significant cost. He did believe in peace, but he knew it came from being willing to use the power you had available to you. But for some reason, conservatives have lost that very basic lesson and said, no, we unilaterally disarm ourselves. We will never extract any kind of price for what you're doing. And like you said, we can keep saying, oh, well, what if the roles were reversed all we want? It's time to reverse the roles. It's time to actually go ahead and take an action to let the left know that they cannot continue this behavior. Because if you don't, then I'm sorry, but just sitting around and hoping that in November 5th, you get a re-election and things change themselves all by themselves, that's foolish.